So the question is, which channel is the best channel? Okay, so marketing channels then. There are so many choices now. Obviously, even in social media, there are four, five, six different major channels that you can choose. But when I'm talking about marketing channels, I think what we're really talking about is what I call lead buckets. So, how are you going to generate a lead? And for me, one of the most critical things is to build from a position of strength. It's to understand what is your authenticity, what is your customer value, what is your audience, what is your proposition in the simplest way to convey the value. Um, so those things are really important, but more to the point, what evidence have you got? And I think when people think about their credentials and testimonials, there's a logical kind of jump to ROI, return on investment, and value. But that's not the only reason why you want testimonials. You also want testimonials to evidence the audience. The person that you sell to is the person that's giving that testimonial, because that's very relatable to the audience that you're talking to. You also want to cover off the hygiene factors as well. You want to make sure that your customer feels comfortable and trusts working with you, because you're taking care of the things that they care about as part of your service delivery. But more to the point, you want to be able to show the capability of what your organization can do, how it's doing what it's doing, not just the outcome. Because a lot of technical buyers want to understand the steps of the journey and how you're addressing those steps. But once you have that word of mouth evidence, it adds significantly to the value that you're bringing to your customer, because it starts to build trust, and trust is everything in marketing these days. It's also potentially bringing personality that's relatable to your audience, and that's important too. So back to the point of channels. I think the most powerful channels to use are logically the ones where your audience hangs out, where you can evidence your customer value in ways that are going to persuade them to come to you. That presupposes then that you can gift some of your customer value online through that medium, through that channel. So one of the considerations that you've got to consider is what sort of products or services that you're offering, and therefore what's the best way, what's the necessary way of conveying your customer value. For some professional services organizations, probably the best possible way of them persuading people of their customer value they can bring is a webinar or an event where they can literally get up close and personal with people, or a networking opportunity to tag into networks. There are so many business networks available now. Podcasts, another great example. Get the opportunity to explain the value to people. What doesn't work is a company that's offering a product or service that doesn't have that instant start value, where a customer can get instant value online or through those mediums. Trying to sell your product or service to those people using those online mediums without some ability to gift value and reward people to come back to engage with you. So I think my starting point for organizations is, what is the customer value you can bring? What channels can you bring it on? Where's your audience going to hang out? And then let's put a lead bucket together and start measuring it for each of those channels. And having achieved that, start to look at creative ways of engagement with those channels, and to put the investment on those channels that are actually working best. So that means you've got to have some form of measurement, not getting so forensic that you spend all of your resource measuring, but to at least make sure that you know which of those vehicles is working for you, how you're going to get the most out of your spend in that way. So cycle quickly, 30, 60, 90 days. Make sure you understand which channels are working for you as quickly as possible. Throw as much word of mouth and proof and evidence and personality through those channels as you can. But be realistic in terms of what your brand can do, what it can achieve, what your product can offer. because not every product or service can be delivered online. Not every product or service transposes well through social media communications.